Several years ago, one of the first like really nice set of earbuds that I ever bought for myself were the Soundcore Liberty Air 2 Pros. And I was blown away by the audio quality on those earbuds. The features that were there were really, really great. It's been a while since I've taken a look at any of their products, but today we're going to do just that because we are going to be unboxing and giving a first impression, maybe a mini review, you could call it, of the brand new Soundcore Liberty 4s. These things are apparently quite nice. They offer some really interesting features. We'll look at them here on Amazon. $149 is your price point. But like I said, there's some cool stuff here. So first off, you've got noise cancellation, which at $149, you kind of expect at this point. That stuff has gotten to where, you know, earbuds from companies like SoundPeats for 50, 60 bucks have that noise canceling. We'll have to see if it's better, you know, if it's a better noise cancellation than what you have on some of the cheaper devices. But there's also some other interesting things like dual modes and a heart rate sensor. So checking somewhere in your ear for your heart rate. So let's jump into this unboxing first and see what we think. All right, Soundcore by Anker Liberty for premium sound with all new heart rate sensor. I'm very curious to see how that's going to work. Hear ID ANC. So they've got this feature that a lot of these companies are now doing where it's going to like listen, or I'm sorry, you're going to listen to a series of sounds and tell it what you're hearing. Did you hear something? Did you not hear something? And it'll try and tune your sound profile to that. 28 hours of talk time. What do we got on either one of these sides? There's that heart rate sensor, which is, again, just very, very strange to me. In-ear heart rate sensor. Spatial audio, which I've not really played around with a whole lot of spatial audio. Maybe we'll see what it's like on this. I think this is magnetic. It is. This is the same as the old earbuds I had from them. Ooh, what a nice unboxing experience. This is a very premium experience here. What's going on in this side? Is this, maybe there's some documentation or something in here? Look at that. So we have our quick start guide as well as, looks like probably a USB-C cable to charge your ear tips here and then your earbuds and your case there. So let's pop all these things out and we'll take a closer look at the buds and the case. That is a very good job on the unboxing experience there, Soundcore. You're doing great. So this is actually a little bit lighter than I expected it to be. It's kind of a matte finish, which I am digging. It slides up like that. Ooh, I like that as well. This is a very nice little case. What about the buds themselves? They seem to be a little bit smaller than I remember the ones before being, although I could be wrong about that, but they do seem a little bit smaller. Pretty standard, pretty typical design as far as the buds themselves go. And of course, they will magnetically drop in there and then begin charging. Speaking of charging, of course, USB-C is there, but they also appear to charge over wireless charging. I just walked into the other room and dropped them onto a generic wireless charging pad of mine, and that worked just fine. Ooh, look at the lights. What is going on here? All these lights. This is very fancy stuff. Are those coming out of the buds? Where are those lights coming from? I think they're coming out of the buds themselves. What on earth? All right, what does this thing actually weigh? This is something that I like to look into, is the weight of these things. So let's go to grams. We are set at 0 now. We're looking at about 54 grams. So let's kind of compare that with a few things. How about the Sony Link Buds at 40 grams? My SoundPeats here at 33 grams, and then these very heavy ones by Master and Dynamic, which are 98 grams, but that's made of metal. So a little on the heavy side, but not really too bad. Let's see now about kind of what the fit is like. I typically just wind up using the standard ear tips, so we'll pop these in and see how they fit, see how they look. I heard a little ding there. So what do you guys think about how they look? I think they're pretty standard as far as I can tell. Let's jump now to this little split screen scenario here, and we will look at the Soundcore app and jump into the setup. Okay, so we are in the Soundcore app. The buds are in. Let's click on Add Device, turn on Location Services. We are now searching for a device. I'm assuming it will try to pair them. Yes, it will. Soundcore Liberty 4. We are indeed pairing out. I just heard a beep. Now we got some instructions here. So it wants you to put on an ear tip that fits you properly, and then it shows you pinching. So unfortunately, my first reaction to the pinching thing is not usable because the app I was streaming my screen to was actually playing the audio as well, and it was very, very loud. But what we're talking about here is actually really, really cool. The earbuds themselves, those stems, you pinch them. Most earbuds, you're tapping and you're kind of doing this thing on your ear looking for the buds. With this, you're just going to find the stem and pinch to play pause or to do things like that. And I can tell you from my first, like, very brief impressions from that, I like that a lot. There's this nice little click, click whenever you squeeze and release that is quite satisfying. And I think I'm going to really enjoy having that be the gesture instead of, again, looking for these taps. My hair is usually in the way. Does it work? Does it not work? It's like hit or miss. But this, I have a very good feeling about. We're off to a great start here because that's already a great decision to go from taps to pinches. I love that. Let's update our firmware here real quick so that we know we're looking at everything properly. Okay, so we're all updated and we are sitting in the app here, and I could already tell that the noise cancellation was in fact turned on. So let's put it on normal to see if I can hear the difference there. And nothing seems to be, oh, there we go. Okay, so I guess I can't click with my mouse. I actually have to use my phone. Okay, so I will say this, there's not a ton of that like pressure sensation that you normally get when you're using active noise cancellation. Like, it really doesn't feel that different from ANC on to normal. What about transparency mode? How well can I hear myself? I can hear myself fairly well. There is a little bit of a muffled sound, and it's very almost tinny. Like, there's not a lot of bass to this, but it's definitely there. I need to play some like background noise here and see what the experience is like going through them. Bear with me for just a moment. Actually, you won't see any of this. Okay, so on music, I'm not super impressed with the ANC. I was actually hearing the music just about as well with ANC on as I was on normal. With transparency on, it was quite loud and clear, but I'm not super impressed by that ANC just yet. Let's find another video. Okay, yeah, we need to dig into some settings here because the ANC is really not doing a whole lot. So let's do this enable Hear ID ANC. So we're going to go through this test really quickly. Hear ID ANC can help you adapt noise cancellation to fit your unique ears and hearing. So let's do this. So we need to be in a noisy environment. So again, you're not going to see any of this stuff, but I'm just going to kind of play some stuff loudly in the room, and I'll edit this part out. So I've gone through and done the test. Now there's an adaptive mode and a manual mode, and you can basically dial in how strong or weak you want that ANC to be, and then the adaptive mode will basically dial it in based on how much noise is in your environment. But again, even with this turned on, it's not doing a great job. Let me find something that's like white noise or static. Yeah, the noise cancellation, I've tried stuff with people talking, I've tried white noise, and I've tried music, and it's just really not that impressive in terms of noise cancellation. When you compare it to things like even some cheaper stuff like SoundPeats, it's just not doing as much as those are. I had to actually switch to the smaller ear tips, which is something I don't normally have to do, but I did in this instance. And yeah, just not super impressive in terms of that. Let's look at these controls here because that is something that I do think is actually very smart. So single squeeze is play pause, double press actually goes to ambient sound. So you can actually customize all these first off, which is fantastic. I love that being a thing. Okay, so basically when you do this, it's toggling between the different ANC modes, and that's working fantastic. I honestly don't think I have any problems with the stock controls, but you can customize them, which is great. So here under sound effects, we have high-res audio, which we're going to probably use. Spatial audio, there is a sound test again to try and kind of help this thing sound better. You can actually do a custom EQ, which is fantastic. And then they have their own signature. I love all the options here. So basically what that does is it plays a bunch of little sounds and they get quieter and quieter. They change pitches and you say, can you hear it or can you not hear it? I guess I have superhuman hearing because I heard every one of them. And then it gives you this based on that. So it looks pretty flat. It's asking me to pick which one I think sounds better. Okay, so then after doing that, we have our profile. So this is originals flat. This is what they gave me. So now I need to see, does Hook sound any better to me now? Yes, it absolutely does. It gave it a little bit more high-end, a little bit more crispness, which I like, and it sounds a little bit punchier. Okay, so now we've just done another firmware update to be able to do high-res audio. Let's turn that on. The dual connections you're using will be turned off if you want to play. Okay, so you can either have multi-point pairing or high-res audio. So let's turn on the high-res audio. Switching modes. Please wait for about 10 seconds. Well, this is a big deal to be switching to LDAC for it to have to do all of this. But we'll see if it makes a noticeable difference. And if it doesn't, which I'm kind of skeptical that it'll make that big of a difference, we'll then check out the multi-point pairing, which is very, very nice to have as well. I think this is going to be a situation where if you're just using YouTube Music, unless you're using a company that can really pump like a high bitrate audio to you, I don't think you're going to be able to really tell much with LDAC turned on. Tidal, Spotify, I don't think YouTube Music is really capable of much. I have this turned up to be streaming at the highest possible quality, but I don't really hear much of a difference there. So I think we're going to turn that back off, go through this process again, and then we'll check out the rest of these features. Okay, what about settings up here? Anything in here? Dual connection. So we are connected to my Z Fold, but apparently, I believe you're able to actually pair this thing to multiple devices. So on another device, I'm going to go into pair new device. Let's hit connect new device. And they have just popped up as available on my Surface Duo 2. And we have now paired to that as well. So how does this work? I'm playing audio off of my Duo. Now I'm going to hit play on my Fold. I don't hear the Fold's audio. Let's pause it on Duo. Okay, so one doesn't seem like it can interrupt the other, but you can be paired to two devices at once. This is really, really cool. I like this a lot. So the idea here is, have a tablet, have a phone, and you can switch back and forth between the two. I love this kind of stuff. This is fantastic. So we have our fit test here, which we've already done. In-ear detection, you can turn off or on. So when a song is playing, it pauses when you remove it, and it should resume when I put it back in. Great. Let's do a pinch here to pause. Fantastic. Looked at dual connections. Prompt tone. So there's a little tone that tells you when they're in and they're connected. So when you put them both in, you'll probably hear boom, boom. You hear them both do it. Turn that off or on. Love the customization. Auto power off. A lot of really good stuff here. Let's look at the wellness thing now. We can go full screen on this. And this should be the area where we're going to be able to see about the heart rate monitoring in your ear. I am a male. My age is, I guess they're meaning what year was I born. They're probably not asking me if I'm 1999 years old. I was born in 89. Things are formatted incorrectly on this. Maybe it's the Fold screwing things up there. Okay, so there's like health tracking stuff here. Weekly activity, duration, calories. You can start an exercise, heart rate, stress detection. Let's check the heart rate here. And it's already got me running there at 75, 76 BPM. And if I look at my watch, I'm showing 73, 76. So it's pretty much on with that. So if you have your earbuds in a lot, like while you're doing a workout, you're listening to tunes while you're working out, that's pretty cool. What about stress detection? How does it determine if I am stressed or not? Log stress in the app. I have no idea how these things work based on heart rate variability. So if your heart rate's varying a lot, it's going to assume that you're stressed, and it's going to log this a posture reminder. So theoretically, it's going to know if you're too far down and give you notifications, hey, straighten your neck out. If you're someone like me with a bad neck, maybe that's a good option to use. There's a lot of really good customization and a lot of good features here on these earbuds. I think that the only weak point I can point out for them is the ANC. It's just not very good. But the sound quality is punching way above its weight class. It's right there with my Samsungs. And honestly, what's probably going to happen is when I'm using my Samsung phone, I always go back to these. When I'm using any other phone, I tend to use different buds. Sometimes that's the Soundpeats. Sometimes that's the Master and Dynamic. I kind of move around. I think this is going to be finally the earbuds I've been looking for that can be just about as good as my, super expensive Samsung buds, but on all my other devices, which is very, very high praise. I almost totally forgot about the head tracking, the spatial audio thing, and I'm not going to dig into it too far because in my experience, you turn it on and it's like when you move your head around, the audio sounds a little different. I don't know who this is for. It makes your audio sound considerably worse and just weird. I have no idea what the point of this feature is. It's not something I'm going to use. I'm not sure how much I care about the wellness stuff, but the audio quality and all the features, the pinches instead of the taps, I love. I think these things are really, really solid. Let's look one more time here. $149.99. They're able to be purchased right now. I don't think I've missed anything super important about these buds, although we can kind of see here what we're looking at. I don't think there's anything new in here that I have not covered. They sound great. I love the way that you control them. Heart rate sensor is pretty interesting. Battery life should be solid. Yeah, what more can you say? I think that they're really good. Guys, thanks to Soundcore for sending these things out for me to review. I really do appreciate it. As usual, they had no editorial influence over this video, and they are seeing it at the exact same time that you are seeing it as well. There will be a link in the description down below to purchase them should you wish to do that. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out on more content just like this. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.